Hey friends, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, we're going to give you the top 18 honest pros and cons about living in Utah if you're looking to make the move here to the Beehive State.
Now these are some topics that we haven't touched on before, and they're interesting facts about the state. So stick around. Like Kim said, we're going to be diving into the top 18 honest pros and cons about Utah, and we're going to get into that right now.
If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
Yeah, we are Sloane Kim Petersen with the Petersen Group. So we've been in the business for about 10 years now, and every day we help people just like you looking to buy, sell, invest, and relocate to the northern Utah area, and we absolutely love doing that. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of our information is in that description box below, so we can go ahead and help you make that smooth transition here to northern Utah.
Okay, so an obvious pro is that Utah is an outdoor recreation mecca. Whether you are an expert outdoorsman or just a hobby outdoor enthusiast, there's something for everyone at every level. Whether it's winter or summer, there's always a multitude of outdoor activities right at your fingertips. And like we've said before, we've known people to move across the country and even across the world just to be near the outdoor recreation opportunities.
Another pro is going to be the stunning natural beauty of Utah. I often joke that we live in a postcard, but Utah really is just so beautiful. In fact, Utah is ranked the 5th most beautiful state in the US, and some criteria to rank as a beautiful state includes the state's mountain peaks, as well as the national parks, the waterfalls, natural lakes, and beaches. And Utah, with its diverse landscapes, has all the above. From forests to stunning mountains to beautiful lakes, we have everything that you could really want.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us right into our next pro, and that's diverse scenery. You can actually take a hike in the mountains and be at the lake all within a half hour of each other, which just blows my mind. From St. George's Red Rocks to the Arches, Pando's Aspen Forest, and Bear Lake, we have it all here in Utah.
Yeah, another pro is going to be our year-round sports, particularly Utah's winter sports. As you probably know, Utah is a world-renowned winter sports state, with places like Park City and Cottonwood Canyon topping major ski lists across the nation. So our snow also has a very unique powder-like quality, which makes it excellent for skiing and snowboarding conditions, and is one of the reasons I feel like people travel each winter season to Utah to spend their time here instead of other places they could go around the United States.
So a lesser known pro is our happiness level here in Utah. Utah is actually ranked the 4th happiest state in the US, and surveys attribute that in part to our outdoor lifestyle and friendly communities. Other aspects included work environments and emotional and physical well-being. I actually think it's really awesome that we ranked that high, as all of those things are pretty great here in Utah. We have a great economy, jobs here are good. We do really take care of our physical and mental health here with all our outdoor recreation. We're big on mental health here in Utah, so I love to see that that's working and we're ranking high in that happiness level.
And really piggybacking off that, and another interesting pro is that we could actually be called the other sunshine state. That's right, Utah ranks 9th in the US for sunny days, coming in at an average of 238 sunny days per year. So if you love the sun or just want some more vitamin D, Utah is definitely a good place for you to call home.
Okay, now this pro we have talked about in a ton of other videos, but that's Utah's booming job market. Utah has a very low unemployment rate, always well below the national average, and a strong job market, especially in technology, healthcare, and energy. Because of our wide range of job opportunities in Utah, we are known as an economic powerhouse in the country.
Yeah, and that brings us to our next pro, which is actually our economy. So with a rapidly growing GDP, Utah's economy is robust and resilient. Oftentimes we do fare better through inflation, through market crashes, job loss, and really over any overall economic stability situation. So even if you take back the 2009 crash, right, we've seen an average drop in price of about 20% all across the United States. In Utah, we are about 11 to 12%. So this gives you an idea of how we really are waving that storm better than the rest of the nation. Our government here in Utah has really done a great job with the budget. They manage the fiscal budget very well. So that really just does help keep our economic status above average, really no matter what is going on in the country.
So a great pro that a lot of people don't consider is our low property taxes. Utah ranks 8th lowest in property taxes in the United States. They're only 0.58% of what the property is valued at, which is way lower compared with other western states in the surrounding areas.
And wrapping up the pros is Utah's longevity of life. That's right, Utah residents have a high life expectancy. It's really credited to our active outdoor lifestyle. And now that being said, we also do love our high fat foods. So it is nice to know that we still do have a high life expectancy. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the cons of living here in Utah.
Okay, so one big con, and one we've talked about in a lot of other videos, is the lack of diversity here in Utah. It's just the way it is, and it is getting better all the time, but change takes time. And right now, Utah ranks as the 16th least diverse state in the US.
All right, the next one is Utah is actually the second driest state in the whole United States. It's true, I know it sounds weird. You think it'd be Arizona, maybe New Mexico, but we are actually the second driest state only after Nevada. So if you do have sensitive skin or bad sinuses, this can affect you in a major way. Luckily, this con is pretty easy to rectify with the use of a humidifier in the winter, and then making sure you, of course, stay extra hydrated.
Okay, so a huge con the last couple of years especially has been the wildfires here in Utah. An unfortunate statistic is that at least 40% of our wildfires here in Utah have been started by humans. The other 60% can be attributed to lightning. So obviously, with as dry as our state is, once a fire starts, it is very difficult to contain and causes lots of damage, including our terrible air quality. So please, kids, if you're playing with fire, put it out.
And our next con is gonna be our expensive housing. So now this is still relative depending on where you live. For example, if you're coming from California, you'll probably think Utah's very cheap. If you're coming from the Midwest, Utah might be ridiculously expensive for you. But this is honestly just due to our housing boom post-pandemic, which a lot of the nation experienced, but Utah did see some pretty big shifts in affordability after that. That has made it so Utah is the 8th most expensive housing state in the country currently. There are still more areas that are more affordable, and this year we actually are seeing a bit of a correction in our housing market. So it's going to be interesting to see where we do land next year.
And another con to Utah is our low salaries. Again, very relative in comparison to where you may be coming from, but nationally speaking, Utah is below average on the salary scale. Keeping in mind, however, that our cost of living is lower compared to other states, it still would be nice to see our salaries catch up in comparison to our talent and education here in Utah.
So the next con, this one we've actually touched on in some of our other videos, but it's our restrictive alcohol laws that can be a con if you're just not simply used to them. Our legal limit here in the state of Utah, as far as DUI goes, is just 0.5%. And like we said before, you can't buy any liquor in grocery stores, not even wine, and what you can order from bars or restaurants is very different from other states. For example, you only have a 1 drink per table, which means you couldn't buy a pitcher if you just want to have a pitcher of beer, at a bowling alley on your own. You couldn't have a shot in a beer. So there's a lot of different restrictions that some people that are not from here, just kind of find strange. Like I said, most of my drinking life I've lived in Utah anyway, so it's always been normal to me, but it definitely is more strict and a lot more rules than you might experience, in other cities of the size.
Okay, and the next con is poor air quality. Again, this is one we've touched on several times, and in fact, Salt Lake ranks 10th in the country for the worst air pollution. A lot of this is due to the fact that we are in a bowl because of the mountains, but we are going to do a whole video on inversion, what it is and why it happens so often here in Utah, so stay tuned for that.
All right, and the last thing that I want to talk about that would be a con would be our drought. So because of some of the other cons that we had on our list that we talked about, the dryness, the wildfire, Utah is susceptible to droughts. It's really gotten severe a few times in the last decade or so where our water was restricted by the city. I think droughts are oftentimes things that happen on the West Coast, and I would say that Utah has really probably just experienced them a little bit more just because of our climate and us ranking, the top 2 driest in the country. All right, guys, so that wraps up our top 18 honest pros and cons of living here in Utah. We hope that you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. If you ever have any questions or want further information on the pros and cons or any aspects of just living in, the state, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help answer any questions, concerns, just have a phone call with you. We love having Zoom calls so we can connect face to face. So feel free to hit us up, and we would love to go into any of this further just to answer some simple questions or what it's like to live here in Utah.
Definitely. And picking where you'll call home is an important decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition to the Northern Utah area. If you're looking to purchase in the Northern Utah area, we would love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. And like always, we are keeping it real. Estate.